know what's going on, but I was like, because yeah, it's super inconsistent too. I don't know.
It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
What even was we talking about?
All right, Shaman King, the thing we're supposed to be talking about.
Right. I was asking if you had ad blocker.
Oh yeah, I do.
I wonder why that even pops up then.
Yeah, it's
Weird.
Stupid. But yeah, Shaman King.
Shaman King.
Number 13, the one where Yo has sex. Implied. Off screen. In his pot blanket.
It's pretty heavily implied, yeah.
So, like, I'm gonna be real. They caught a bunch of, like, little details from the manga, and I'm kind of having to, like, go through all of them, because, like, none of them really matter. It's just a bunch of, like, fun gags that they just got rid of. And I mean,
don't feel like you have to if they're completely inconsequential to the plot.
Yeah, but they're like, there's stuff that people might well, like, know about, like, yo, Ryu's just sitting in bed, and he's like, oh man, if I don't wash my hair, it's gonna stay like this. It's implied that he just doesn't. Wait, no, because I think we see him, like, take a shower, actually. Yeah, and it, like, still stays like that.
Did we see him take a shower?
Not in the anime, but in the manga. Yeah, there's, like, a shot of it. Okay. Yeah, before he, like, looks over his little, like, card from his old gang, which actually is in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
They kept all the emotional stuff and they cut out all the gags, which honestly makes the scene work better. But it's like...
I was gonna say, if it only serves to drag out the series, drag out the episode, and, like, make it so that episodes go with literally nothing happening, fine.
Yeah. But it's like, it's a bit of a shame that's like, you count like a weird bit where it's like, Horo's like sister makes like a thing for him. It's like some kind of like wood carving that like, I assume it's like a traditional like Ainu thing to like, make like a wood carving for someone who's going off to like another place or whatever. And Horo looks at, and Liame this like play the emotional music and it goes on, and the main guy looks at it, is like, oh, this is like amazing. It's kinda ugly though, ain't it? It's like, damn.
Yeah, so I understand that. It's like,
but yeah, point is, like, they're going off to the next round of the Shaman fight, which is taking place in America, of all places.
Yeah, well, that's where the Patch Tribe is from.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was gonna say about Horo's comment being cut, it's like they probably want us to like Horo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Something I kinda noticed, which is like, Horo is like the most argumentative member of the group, and he basically just exists to like, shoot one-liners at other people, so they'll have like, people to talk to for their moment. Cause Yo's not gonna like call you out on saying something that sounds weird. Yeah. And Ryu's like too chill of a guy to like bother with that.
I kind of appreciate that Horo, who has ice powers, is not the chill character like ice powers characters usually are.
Oh heck no, he's like burning it up.
Yeah, Horo is a total hothead, and it's like, oh, that's a good subversion of that trope you don't see very often.
Yeah, it's like, it's a fun little gag, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so everyone's like getting around, like saying their goodbyes and stuff, and there's a moment where Yo's like, oh yeah, Manta, we're not gonna see each other again, which I'm fairly sure is a lie, but like, for all intents and purposes, it's like, yeah, we're not gonna be seeing Manta for like a good while, probably.
Yeah. I don't quite understand this whole deal, because everybody is talking like, I'm never going to see you again. And it's like, I guess maybe they're like, oh, you could die over there, but that's not the way it comes off. Like the phrasing is
Yeah.
something like, once you take part in the shaman fight, you can never return to this world or something, implying that they're going to like another plane of existence and never coming back.
Yeah, no, they're just going to America.
Yeah, so it's really strange.
Like, to be fair, some of them totally could die. Like, there are
Yeah.
people in this fight who are, like, totally prepared to kill, so, like, the threat has escalated. But
Somebody
it's also,
dies in this
like,
episode.
yeah. Speaking of, in
Holy
fact,
crap.
if you think about it, multiple people die in this episode.
They're already dead.
Yeah, but you see them die.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone, like, sets off, and it's like, you look at this shot, and it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, you think about it, it's like the group seems so big when all the spirits and stuff are there, but it's like, it really is just, like, these 4 dudes, including, like, Ren.
Say Ren's not in the picture, but they meet up with him later.
Yeah, it's like, if Ryu didn't get in at the last minute, this would just be like Yo and Horo just like walking off on their own.
Yeah. And I can understand why they don't have, like, it's like Faust apparently joins their team, I guess, but right now they're not on good terms with the guy.
Yeah. There's actually a bit that they like cut out, which I should really get into in like a moment. But yeah, before we get there, they fly to America, like, which is mentioned to be like some random military base, where like the anime cuts out that there's just a freaking robot.
You're skipping ahead really far.
No. Because, like, when they get to the air base in the manga, they just look over and there's just a robot there. There's, like, also a dude with, like, an elephant.
But they don't fly to America until they meet up with Ren.
No, they meet up with Ren first at the American military base, and they fly to Route 66 from there. There's 2 planes.
Don't show the first one in the anime.
I'm pretty sure they do. I think you just missed it because it goes by really quickly.
I'll pull up the episode again, but
yeah, because it's like most planes with like the little like like thing on the top, the word like dish or whatever. That probably don't make any sense, but it's like it's like they fly on like a normal plane first to America after they like set off. And the manga they specifically mentioned, they arrived at like an American military base. And they fly on like a second plane to get like across the United States. Which is the effing like the Patch Jumbo. Which is this amazing plane with like all the Patch Tribe members just like on the side. That's quote unquote made using traditional Native American methods.
Yeah. And Manta's like, that thing? What?
Yeah.
I think it's Manta.
No, Manta's not there, right? Yeah, it's Horo.
Right, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm so used to Manta being the one who chimes in.
Yeah, Manta's gone, man. He's just like, he's off to like go back to his family and apologize for acting rashly. Manta's gonna have to like go back to his dad and be like, I'm sorry for like, acting against your wishes. Please send me to America. And I'll be like, what about your friends? And Manta will have to explain that Yo's away for the summer.
Okay, yeah, there's 2 planes. They just show it for a single scene, and then the Air Force, the fact that they're at like an Air Force base, flashes by on the top of the screen where you're not looking. So I just missed the whole thing.
I absolutely don't blame you for missing that because it goes by so quick and it makes so little sense.
Yeah, it's just it cuts to a shot of a plane, and then they're standing in the Air Force base.
Yeah. Because, like, in your head, it's like, of course, like, logical thing is like, well, yeah, you have to, like, go to the place to get on the plane, and then the plane happens. But no, there's, like, another plane for, like, no reason at all.
Well,
Even though, like,
it would probably be a really long trip by car or whatever to get here. Well, oh no, this is in America, right?
yeah. I
So yeah, they
assume this is
definitely
on,
had to
like, the
fly
West Coast.
in.
So yeah, it's
This,
like, this would be
yeah.
like the short trip, and the long trip is to get across the United States. Which is
Ugh.
really weird, but it's like, yeah, that's what's happening.
Let me look something up.
Because, like, I don't know how, like, long the flight time from Japan to America is, but, like, it can't be super long.
U.S. Route 66.
Yeah.
The
That's
the
the other thing. It's
Wikipedia,
like the other plane, let's just say for now it drops them off at Route 66.
basically.
Which is gonna make way more sense in, like, a minute.
Highway, there's the main street of America. Oh, right. Route 66 goes through like almost the entirety of the United States.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, they could have dropped them off on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
like,
you're right.
so we, like, all get together, and they're, like, just hanging out. They're, like, they run to Ren, and they, weirdly enough, like, run into just, like, Silva and Kaleem, or whatever his name is, who are just, like, manning the food stand.
Oh, I didn't even see them.
Yeah, the anime just glosses it over, because, like, here's the thing. I don't know if it's, like, a stereotype remark that, like, Native Americans are, like, constantly trying to sell people stuff. I don't know if that's what they're avoiding, but, like, the anime seems very insistent to, like, avoid all the gags of Silva and his tribe being super broke. Because, like, they specifically mention in the manga, they're, like, manning the food stand to, like, get funding for the Patch tribe, because they have nothing to go on.
Yeah. From what I'm seeing here, like, I'm watching the scene here in the anime, it doesn't show Silva or his friend at all. Like, there's you can see somebody behind the counter, but it doesn't show their face. It's like the right side of their body.
Yeah. Can you at least, like, make out that's them, or they've, like, changed what they look like?
They're wearing like a blue outfit, and then there's a collar with some kind of triangular design on it.
Oh man, they're obscuring it super hard. They really don't want people to know that Silva's working at, like, all these part-time jobs.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be like maybe considering Chocolove and, like, the racist depictions of the original manga, it could be that people have become more politically correct, and it's like we don't really want to show, like, the Native American people in like a stereotypical light that they wouldn't like or something.
Yeah, I think that's totally it. That there's some stereotype I don't know about, like, Native American people, like, peddling jewelry or, like, whatever, and they're like, yeah, let's just steer clear away from that. And it's like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, it's weird.
At this point, it has to be deliberate, because there's no way, right?
Or they just thought it was inconsequential, and so they just cut the entire gag.
Yeah, that might also just be the case, because it has been working for the pacing, but yeah. It is a bit of a shame, I feel like.
Yeah. But yeah, they meet up with Ren, and he's like, yeah, the food here's pretty good. Wait a minute. They're in an American airbase.
Yeah.
What's he eating?
I think he's eating, like, a rice ball or something. No, it's not like a rice ball, it's like...
He's eating takoyaki. he's eating takoyaki, and all the signage is in Japanese.
That traditional Native American made takoyaki.
This is so weird.
I wonder if that's just, like, they didn't think it through, or if it's like, oh yeah, they just know how to, or I know. Because is this like, yeah.
Okay, the next scene is immediately cutting to them sitting under the awning of a pizza place.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Ren has gotten more food, I guess.
Why aren't they, like, passing out, like, pizza or something?
Well, like, if they wanted to do, like, a roadside food place, they could have gone, like, hot dogs, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, man, that's...
It could be that the writer of this series has never been to America and doesn't
mean,
know.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
Yeah, and he just or like he didn't have a grasp on American culture, so he just doesn't know what they sell on the sides of the like at food stalls, and so he's like, we do takoyaki here, so have him eat a takoyaki.
Yeah, that honestly seems like pretty straightforward. Like, you know, like, no offense to anyone, but it's like, I could totally believe that, like, you know, like, a Japanese writer in the 90s wouldn't know about, like, American food stall customs.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, completely reasonable to me right now.
Yeah. Like I said, so it's weird. They're sitting at a pizza place, right?
Yeah.
But they've got like those brown paper bags as if they've got like burgers and fries or something.
Maybe they did get burgers.
But they're sitting at a pizza place.
Yeah. It's one of those American pizza joints that sells burgers. One of those fast food restaurants.
Also, I was surprised that Ren is sitting next to a solid gold briefcase from the looks of it, and then I remembered that's where he keeps his halberd.
Yeah, never forget, he's just carrying around a solid gold briefcase with his, like, solid gold, like, suit.
Yeah. So yeah, they're just chilling out, and then Hal just walks up. He's so small.
He's so smug.
So Hal is also super chill, which is really weird.
Yeah.
But he's like a smug chill. It's like
yeah, like,
and like he's Yo's brother, so it makes sense. But it's like, wow.
Yeah. They're kind of doing the cool thing I kind of like, where it's like, oh yeah, let's just take the hero of the series, just make them evil. Just use all their good traits and, like, turn them into smugness.
Yeah. I'm so confused about this character, because jumping ahead a little bit, I'm kind of convinced he's possessed by his fire demon, but but he's so chill for someone who, like, if that's the case.
I don't think he is. I think he's like the reincarnation of, like, because this is like jumping ahead a lot, but it's like, you know, this episode we learned that there's, like, the Patch tribe.
A guy named Patch.
Yeah, the guy named Patch, who the Patch tribe is, like, presumably named after, was just, like, a huge evil, like, jerk who wanted to create a world of, like, only shamans, or, like, a world where shamans would rule or whatever. And apparently he's this weird evil force that just keeps reincarnating. So he reincarnated into the Patch tribe to gain the fire spirit, which is, like, you know, his, like, ghost guardian in this one. And, like, he fought a bunch of warriors and presumably died somewhere along the line, and then he reincarnated again as Yo's brother so he could take part in the shaman fight.
I make that guess that he's, like, possessed, so that they, like, because I'm so certain that they're gonna redeem him.
Yeah, because the fire demon, like, drags him off in the first episode where he's, like, a baby, right?
Yeah, so I'm almost certain that they're gonna be like, oh, Hal never did anything evil, he was possessed by the fire demon.
Man, this is so weird, because I'm thinking back, it's like, they specifically call out Hal as being, like, an evil baby they had to, like, exercise.
True, they did say that we have to kill him.
Yeah, and, like, the fire demon comes with them, and he, like, saves his life and drags him off, but it's like, that's Hal as, like, a baby. So presumably just grew up and became evil of his own free will afterwards. Well, unless he was just born like the way this works implies that Hal was just born with all the memories and like personalities and stuff of like his past lives.
Holy crap! You dropped out for a
Whoa,
second.
what?
Like the stream and you're talking like through Discord, you just dropped.
Whoa.
So I thought your internet connection might have dropped.
No, I'm not detecting any lost frames. But yeah, the way this is set up seems to imply that, like, Hal was just born with all the memories and, like, you know, experiences and stuff of his past lives. So he just knows who he is, and he knows to be evil. Like, that's the only way this makes sense, right? Because, like, he refers to the demon like it has, like, different personality traits than him. Because, like, yo, he shows up and Horror's like, hey, are you picking a fight? And the demon is like, How is like, no, I'm not, but yo, like, asks what to, like, say hello to you guys. And the fire demon just, like, punches Horror out. Thankfully, doesn't murder him. Even though it totally could have just done that in, like, the moment, honestly. And Hal's like, yeah, yo, this guy has like a bit of a fiery temper, though. Might want to watch what you say. Like, the implication seems to be that, like, Horror ticked off the fire demon, and it just acted on its own without Hal's input. And he's like, yeah.
Also, anytime they call it by its name, Spirit of Fire, they don't subtitle it. So you just have to know what they're saying. Like, you have to, like, understand what they're saying in English through a Japanese accent.
Yeah.
Once again, another gripe with whoever the heck is subbing these.
Yeah, like, that's the, like, thing that kind of sucks, because it's like, subs aren't amazing, but also on the show itself, it's like, the music is also really weird, because they'll, like, you know, like, just cut tracks in super hard, and it's like, editing, though. Like, I pulled it out before on, like, the Faust fight, because it was, like, stupidly glaring, but they do again here, too. But yeah. So it's like, Rin tries to attack Howie, like, the fire dude just sort of, like, you know, raises up. I'm just gonna keep calling it the fire demon. I know it's Spirit of Fire, but screw it. But yeah, we had big, like, cool villain shot of, like, household group. And he's like, oh, hey, look at, like, all these allies I've made, and we're gonna crush you.
Yeah, Hal just has a whole bunch of dudes hanging out with him.
Yeah, like, because you look at this group shot, it's like, okay, we got bows, we got, like, you know, the singing Chibi Morios, and we have, like, just a random effing football player who, like, just has an American flag cape, so that's something. Got, like, some people in robes I can't really make out. There's one that looks like, you know, is, like, you know, from, like, Mexico, or he's, like, Hispanic or something, because he has the whole, like, you know, like, he has, like, a sombrero on, it seems, and, like, yeah, it's super, like, you know, yeah, the poncho. Trying to think of the word for it. We have, like, you know, some, like, little black kid. We have, like, another black kid, but, like, actually black. Got, like, you know, some weirdo, like, sisters with, like, pumpkins and, like, voodoo dolls and crap. It's just a Chinese man with a big, like, food dish on his back. It's like, I feel like none of these characters really stand out super hard, but it's like, there's some designs here. I feel like we're gonna be finding a lot of these dudes. Like, this definitely seems like a setup for, like, Yo and his group to go in, and everyone, like, picks a guy they have to fight. And, like, hey, yo, maybe we learn more about them, or maybe we, like, avoid some of them, maybe some of them come back later. No. But yeah, this is definitely a group, alright. Like, thoughts, I guess?
That That's a group. Also, I wish Discord had stopped like cutting out at random.
Oh no, Discord.
But I got what you said for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is quite a group. I thought, well, no, like I missed that the Shinto guys or whatever they are. Is it
Yeah,
Shinto?
the Shinto monks or whatever.
Yeah, I missed that they were there.
Yeah, because of course they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giant football man is like, what the heck?
I feel like Giant Football
Yeah.
Man is gonna be the most interesting.
Or the
like,
least interesting.
Yeah, because all I can imagine is the special ability is going to be shoving, like, I don't know, man, like the ghost of Abraham Lincoln or something into a footballs and then throwing it at a dude really hard.
Football will save the world.
His football over soul grand tackle.
But yeah, how is like, yeah, I just wanted them to see me. Hey, yo, you're special to me. All right, later.
Later. Yeah, because they have to, like, peace out because they have to, like, catch the flight that's, like, appearing right at that moment with, like, Yo and the others. I mean, you all just have to, like, board the same plane together.
I'm just curious about what he means by, like, oh, you're special to me. It's like, despite the fact that he's a reincarnation of a clearly evil man, does he still hold, like, brotherly affection for Yo?
Maybe Yo's also a reincarnation.
Maybe. Please don't Naruto us.
They might be Narutoing it big time. This might be a big Naruto.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like all's got the effing the patch jumbo.
Whoa.
Whoa, what?
You cut out while I was talking, so I don't think you heard me.
I don't think I heard you either.
Yo has heard the name Hal before, right?
I believe so, because I think the monk said it.
Okay, so that explains his reaction to, like, oh, he's Hal.
Yeah.
It's not that he's like, oh, wait, I was told that I had a brother named Hal or something.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, and Yo is just like, huh, something about that guy. And also Silva. They both look like me. What's up with that?
Yeah. Because he says, it's really weirdly phrased, but he's like, oh, he feels like Silva, but he looks like me. So it's like, it's probably because of the whole, like, yo, Patch Tribe reincarnation thing, and then he's, like, also his brother, so it's like, there's a lot of weird connections here.
Yeah, it's just, for a moment I was like, oh, does Yo actually know? And it's like, no, it doesn't seem like he does.
Man, this is such a weird episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, like, they got the patch jumbo, which, like, I'll point out the scanlation of the manga I've been reading didn't know that it's supposed to be called the patch jumbo. So there was, like, a weird translator's note that says, like, oh, the word they use roughly translates to enormous. So in the manga, everyone's just calling it the patch enormous, even though it's a jumbo jet.
Right. It's probably just that the translator didn't, like, they're not good at reading context, I guess.
Yeah, they just didn't think about it.
Yeah, they just weren't thinking about jumbo jets. So yeah, they're just in the plane, and Horo is just like, I can't believe we have to share a plane with that guy, and the Hal's just sitting a few seats behind him.
Yeah.
And, like, he just, like, waves at them, and Yo is just like, yo, like, waves back at him. And Horo's like, don't wave at him.
Man, there's a bit here I really wish they kept, because they're sitting on the plane with all the other contestants, which means Horo's like, oh man, we have to share a plane with those creeps, I can't stand this. And he looks to his left, and there's just Faust there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and Faust is just like, oh, look, Eliza, it's those brats who cut your legs off. And he's like, I sure hope nothing bad happens to them. Man, Faust is so good in this chapter, and they just cut all his moments out.
Maybe he'll show back up in the anime again.
I'm sure he will. But yeah, they go on the planet, they're like, going off. And there's a weird little one, because one of, like, Hal's, like, guys, like, the little, black kids, just like, oh, hey, it's time for it to start. And then, like, they get a surprise announcement, and, like, turns out that the plane they're flying is actually an Oversoul. I don't know how this works.
Okay, I think I have an explanation for the Japanese food stalls.
Okay.
It just popped into my head because I saw a subtitle talking about Yo saying that it's a 12-hour flight to America.
Yes.
What? Okay, you didn't cut out, right? You can hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Yo says that it's a 12-hour flight to America. So, like, I think it's an American Air Force base in Japan.
Oh, that would actually... I don't know if that's a thing, but if that would actually make a lot of sense. Or if it's like, on like world, an island.
In this world, I think it might be the case, because it doesn't make sense for them to be in America, and then for Yo to say, yeah, it's 12 hours to America.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Japan's like the meeting place, so they have to like fly to the meeting spot.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just an American Air Force base in Japan, which explains why they're still serving Japanese food.
That makes sense, but it's still super confusing.
Yeah, because neither of us got that until I saw the subtitle again, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because I forgot that it's like flights like from different areas of Japan, like across the country, are like legitimately like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, yeah. So, like...
So, yeah. Go ahead.
So there's flying to America, and it's like, oh hey, the plane's an Oversoul, good luck smashing into the ground, idiots. And they just desummon the plane.
This is where we drop you off. You have, how long do they give them?
I think it's like 3 months, yeah.
Yeah. You have to reach Patch Village within 3 months. After this broadcast is over, the plane will disappear.
Good luck, fuckers.
Yeah. And it doesn't show anybody die, but there's gotta be someone in this plane who didn't know how to stop the fall and just died.
So I do want to point out, and this is like weird, this may just be a weird inconsistency or whatever. In the manga, we do straight up get our moment with Faust. Because remember, Faust is in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So, like, he falls, like, extra fast. Like...
That's not how gravity works.
Like, he falls and he's just going, like, straight down head first. And Horus, like, looking around her, it's like, all these different people are able to fly, or it's like, the, like, robots turned into a little, like, flying mech, there's, like, the elephants just developed, like, extra ears, and it's, like, flapping its way around like Dumbo. There's, like, people in parachutes, there's, like, some guy with a big, like, Egyptian pyramid thing he's, like, clinging onto. I think, like,
fire turns into a rocket ship.
How's Spirit of Fire?
Actually, but he's just shooting out like a fire thruster from his lower half.
Yeah, like all of Hal's minions are just like on the Spirit of Fire, and Hal's like, yeah, good luck, hopefully you figure something out before you hit the ground.
Well, that's not actually what he says. He's like, hey, you want to ride? And Hora is like, who would want to ride from you?
Yeah. Hal may have saved, like, loads of contestants, unironically.
Yeah, Hal's just like, well, I offered.
Yeah. Yeah, we get one from Faust in the manga where like, yo, Horror's like, wait, yo, what are you laughing about? You're gonna die too. And like, Faust is like, don't worry, I drug myself up with morphine before the flight.
So he just crashes into the ground and just doesn't feel it, so he lives.
Yeah, Faust is just straight up like, when I crash into the ground, I'll break like half the bones in my body, but then I could just heal myself, so it's no big deal.
That's stupid.
And by heal, he means he's going to send skeletons out to, like, find replacement bones for him.
Yeah. That's not how blunt force trauma works.
Yeah.
The impact would kill him, not the pain of it.
Yeah, don't mind that, like, yo, like, his lungs would, like, explode on impact. But yeah, that does weirdly imply that, like, they might not be at a height where, like, a fall would be lethal, right?
Yeah, because, like, it takes them a while to fall and actually get close to the ground, but it doesn't look like they're that high up when it shows them looking towards the ground.
Yeah, it feels way worse in the anime, because in the manga it's like, you know, you're like going through this at the speed you flip the pages, so it feels like they're talking faster. But when you have to hear out the entire conversation, it's like, oh, you're going for a good bit, huh?
Yeah. And it's like Horror's freaking out, and it's like, how can I concentrate my Furyoku? We're all gonna freaking die. And Yo is just like, well, that's why I hit you.
It's yeah, like, they have enough time to have a full, like, yo, discussion with Hal, a moment with Faust. Like, Horror freaks out. Yo, like, punches him out. They have a moment. Rin, like, reassures them, and they have enough time to, like, come up with a plan, wake up Ryu, and get everyone together before they actually hit the ground.
Also, Horo wakes up Ryu by, like, slashing his hair in half.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, because it's kind of unclear how it happens in the anime.
Yeah, he cuts off the top half of his hair with a snowboard.
Okay, yeah, he just does it so fast it's easy to miss.
Yeah, because Ryu's like passing out of fear.
Or was he asleep on the plane?
No, they say he faded.
Oh, okay.
So it's like he probably like looked at the ground and just was like, ugh, and he's just like out of it.
It's like, oh, guess I'll die.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the plan is focus your Furyoku on the ground and create a cushion.
Yeah, it's basically like when you're like falling in Mario 64, as long as you do a ground pound at the last moment, you're fine.
Yeah. Also, I don't know why it's Basan who does it, but Basan catches, like, I guess Yo's headphones fell off his head, and Basan catches them for him.
It's a pretty cool moment, honestly. Yeah, so they all, like, they survive somehow, and, like, everyone else is just somewhere else. I guess somewhere just out there, Faust is just a bloody mess on the pavement of Route 66, and he's just like... Yeah, he's like, hey, Eliza, find a traveler and steal his bones for me, will ya?
Yeah. Hey, this is crazy, isn't it? An episode where it's not just combat, we have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, a lot more. This episode also goes like a mile a minute.
Yeah, it sure does. They see that they're on Route 66, and Ryu's just like, yo, that's rad.
Yeah, he's like, I got this, guys.
Well, it's like, because he's like a Yankee.
Yeah.
So, like, he's obsessed with, like, Western, like hot rods and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And so it's like, oh, yeah, Route 66, that's, like, the most, like, Western hot rod, like, thing, but, like, yeah.
Man, I know that, like, they had to get all this into one episode. I do have, like, regret that it's, like, they did count another gag here that I actually do wish they kept in a lot. Because, like, Ryu hitchhikes, and he just picks up a dude, like, immediately.
Yeah.
Cause he like, he like uses his oversoul to make it look like he has a big thumb and it like draws a dude's attention.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense because how can the guy see the big thumb unless he
I
can also see ghosts?
I also I don't know if people can actually see oversouls or not, which is very interesting, but like I know it's like in the manga at least, like the next chapter, it starts off and the guy's like, talk about the legendary hitchhiker who is like a shining thumb of gold or something. So it's implied that like maybe he felt the energy of the oversoul.
I don't know. It's kind of implied that he knows Ryu, but it could be that they just talked in the car.
No, he absolutely doesn't know Ryu because like they just meet up. Like
Okay.
this is completely at random, and they hitchhike with this guy, and in the manga they just stop off and they're like saying farewell to each other, and Ryu's like, yeah, hope things get better with your wife.
Yeah, in the anime, he flags down the car. The guy goes, "Get in, kids." They get in, and then it cuts to them at their destination, and it's just Ryu going, "You're a lifesaver, Billy."
Yeah, like they're on like a first name basis, Ryu and this guy just like hug it out in the manga.
Yeah.
Like they legitimately just became friends in like, an hour.
This big buff American dude who speaks Japanese.
Yeah.
I know that it just makes things way simpler if everybody just speaks Japanese. But
it's so funny though.
Yeah, because it's like it's like this big muscular like guy who's probably obsessed with cars like Ryu, and it's like, yeah, he speaks Japanese. Also, the librarian speaks Japanese. Also, the Native American woman who shows up speaks Japanese.
The Samoan woman.
Samoa, yeah.
Samoan woman, yeah, how you pronounce it? Because, like, I would say that's like, I don't know if you've ever seen The Great Pretender. It's like a Netflix anime about, like, con men. But, like, they actually have a thing where it's like, I appreciate this a lot, where it's like, at the start, it's like, they speak different languages, and they, like, actually have the, like, voice actors, like, speaking the different languages, and, the other guy speaks Japanese, so it'd be, like, easier, and they have a quick note where it's like, oh yeah, from now on, we'll just all translate everything to Japanese. So it's like this quick little gag of like, oh yeah, I know we're just doing this for simplicity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something that has to be addressed. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
And heck, even a library thing, I could believe that somebody who works at the library, or it's like, hey, we need somebody who speaks Japanese. Do any of you learned individuals speak Japanese? And it's just like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, boom, done.
Oh man.
Because I call attention to this, but I didn't say anything when Ren showed up, who is a native Chinese kid.
Yeah.
And he just knows Japanese. But that's kind of more believable, I think.
Yeah, you would assume that, like, Shaman fight contestants who are going to meet up in Japan will at least try to learn up on some Japanese, right? Like, that just makes sense to me.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say their languages are similar, but it's like, I feel like there's less of a distance between Chinese and Japanese than there is like Japanese and English.
Yeah,
if
that makes sense. Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. Because, like, there are a lot of, like, cultural similarities between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, there are, like, different things and all that, but, there are, like, I believe it's like the way they like write letters and stuff uses a similar like system and that type of thing.
Yeah. Again, for everyone listening, I'm making
we're not experts.
Big assumptions here.
Yeah, we're not experts. We're just trying to not be racist by accident.
I'm not worried about that. It's just. Anyways,
but yeah,
they go to the library and it's like, hey, let's just ask somebody if they know about the Patch Tribe.
Yeah, there's a weird thing that they like So this is another thing that cut from the anime. I hate that I keep having to do this, but I can't help it. Cause like they rock up to a guy and they're like, ask him about the Patch Tribe, and he's like, yeah, no, it doesn't exist. Like in the manga strip, like there's no such thing as the Patch Tribe. It's like not one of the like, groups of Native Americans. It's made up, it doesn't exist. And Horror's like, that can't be true. We've met Patch Tribe people. And he's like, nah, but I've been like studying this for years, and sorry, it doesn't exist, boy. And he's just got a little like tome pole on his desk, so he's like legit about this. And he's like, oh, now you mention it, there actually is a legend about a man named Patch, and he shows them the thing.
Yeah. Coincidentally, it's a Native American legend.
Yeah.
So it seems weird that he didn't, like, connect the two. It's, like, immediately. Where it's like, oh, the Patch Tribe, that's not real, but there is a guy named Patch.
Yeah, there is a guy named Patch, and he was related to the Seminoans, I believe is how it's pronounced. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it's like, oh, there's a whole song about it or something, and it's like,
yeah,
it's like, do not mess with Patch, you will die.
Yeah, it's like Patch flies across the lands, inviting everyone to a feast, and in the image I like that you can see, he's got like the whole like oversoul and like energy effect around him, and he's also got like a bird on his back, so he's totally just using the eagle oversoul that we saw Silva use before, right? Like that's totally what the image is. But yeah, it's like, Patch offers you to a feast and like don't accept because he's a demon and he'll eat you. And it's like, alright, that's foreboding. Also, there's just a bunch of fire below him, so that's probably to do with the fire spirit.
Probably.
So yeah, I'm sure we'll learn more about that later.
Probably. Yeah, they walk outside and they're greeted by a Native American woman named Lily Rara?
Yeah, Lily Rara. Which is, I'm just gonna say, like, that must be like a pain to pronounce in Japanese because L's and R's for them.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, we do legitimately, like, at least in the manga, we see, like, a sign at the front of her house, and it just straight up is Lily Rara. Because we see it spelled out.
Yeah, so she's like, hey, don't go looking into the Patch and whatever, or I'll kill you.
So this is super confusing, and they don't really make it super clear in the episode, but it seems like what's going on is that she's like, oh yeah, don't compete in the shaman fight. They're just trying to scout out a new shaman king so they can put that whole, like, world domination plan into place again. Because, like, 500 years ago, a man named Patch was, like, going around killing Simonian warriors or whatever, because he wanted to, like, become the Shaman King and create a world where, like, shamans ruled over, like, normal men. He wants, like, a world where, like, the shamans ruled over the people without, like, shaman powers, basically.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, we can't have that, so, like, yeah, you can't aid in the, like, Patch Tribe conspiracy because they're, like, using you. And Yo's like, that can't... Sorry, this is the manga, by the way. Yo's like, that can't be the case. Silva taught me how to make an oversoul. And Lily Rara's like, yeah, because it benefited his plan to find a new Shaman King. And it's like, heh.
Yeah. So now it's all up in the air. It's like, oh, is the quote-unquote Patch Tribe evil and whatnot? It's like...
Yeah, the answer seems to be no.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. She's like, okay, I have to stop you. And Ren's like, all right, I'll do this. I won't even need my oversoul. Just kicks like a doll away. And she's just like, don't underestimate me. And a spirit comes out and touches him and cuts off his hand.
Yeah.
Or no, his foot.
Yeah, cuts off his leg. Yeah, I do honestly like this a lot, because it's like, Lily Rara's not like a fighter. She wasn't like scat for the shaman fight or anything. She's more of like a divination person, like she deals with visions. So, like, to fight, she, like, forces the visions onto you, and it makes you feel the real pain of, like, the vision. So
Yeah. So
she's like, yeah, keep trying to fight me, and I'll just keep making you feel that pain until you give up.
So it actually shows everybody in the party losing a limb.
Yeah.
And you're watching it, and it's like, geez,
Yeah.
how are they gonna recover from this? And then it cuts to the group, and they're like panting and on the ground, but otherwise fine.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's an illusion. She just made us feel the pain.
Yeah.
And like have those visions.
Yeah. But also, I do like that a lot. It's like, she's not a fighter, but she still has, like, other ways to deal with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's smart. Yeah, so she's like, hey, yo, don't do this. And, like, Yo's like, alright, then, like, yo, show us why not using your spirit powers. And she's like, alright, I'm going to show you a vision from 500 years ago. And it's basically how just murdering a bunch of warriors, and they're all, like, freaking out over it.
Yeah, or rather Patch.
Yeah, Patch, who looks like How.
/ Silva.
Yeah. / Silva.
Because Silva and Hal look similar for some reason.
Oh, man. But yeah, like, I forget exactly what the context is, but there is a bit where it's like, yo, in the manga, she's like, oh yeah, the Patch tribe lied to you and stuff. And Horohoro's like, nah, Kaleem would never lie to me. And you see a big, like, picture of his face.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that side character has been hanging around with Silva.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Horohoro's, like, super defensive of him. But yeah, she, like, shows them the vision, and they're like, oh my god, that was How. He's, like, he's back, and he's, like, trying to become Shaman King. And she kind of, like, eases up a bit, like, wait, what? That can't be right, the guy died. And they're like, no! You really didn't. And we get this random bit where, like, thugs just show up out of nowhere, and they're like, oh yeah, let's just, like, fight the Messin woman for no reason. This, like, Simonian warrior.
Well, their reasoning is that they want information on the Patch tribe.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, let's just fight her, I guess. And Rin just kicks the shit out of them.
It's not Rin, it's Horohoro.
Oh, right, yeah, it is.
Horohoro, like, attacks them. So he's like, I was focusing on my goal of making a giant butterbird patch or whatever. And then she's like, oh, that's ridiculous. Like, your goals are so simple and noble or whatever.
Yeah, she's like, oh, that's what you want to do? Alright, guess that's fine.
I guess you guys are good guys.
Yeah, it's really like a hard 180 turn with her. It's kind of nuts.
It's really weird.
Yeah, she's like, I guess no one who just wants to make a field of flowers could ever be bad. I guess you really do care about your spirits after all. Every single one of you, and she turns to Rin. I guess you're all just fine.
So, Horohoro beats these, like, every single one of these guys. There's, like, 3 of them. And he beats them all in one swing. So these guys were good enough to survive the fall, but weak enough that Horohoro just one-shots all of them at once.
Maybe these were, like, the guys who were in the parachutes, or maybe, like, Hal saved them.
Maybe.
Because, like, this implies that they're, like, contestants, right?
Yeah, well, one of them lifts up their arm and they have an oracle bell.
Oh, right, yeah. So, yeah, they're just, like, man, the standard of getting into the Shaman fight is so much lower than it seemed when Yo fought Faust.
Yeah.
It's like, they really are just letting anyone in.
Yeah. Well, I guess they just lucked out and ended up fighting really weak opponents.
Did Chibi Chibi Morio Brothers beat these guys as, like, one of their wins? And they beat someone even weaker?
The question is, how do you beat the person sent from the Patch Tribe to test you, but then you're that weak?
I guess the obvious answer is you have an oversoul, but you just, like, suck. You know, you
So
manage to
yeah,
at least do some damage to some, like, examiner, but you also just suck with spirits when it comes to, like, everyone else.
yeah. So yeah, we cut back to Lily Rara's house, and she's like, "Oh, that's hilarious. I haven't laughed that hard in forever." And
Man.
it's like, okay, yeah, tomorrow morning I'll tell you everything, and then she tells them everything off screen.
Yeah. So presumably we also then know everything.
Maybe,
Presumably.
yeah.
It's gonna be really weird if we get to the next episode and Yo's like, yeah, remember the traditional, like, the patch guardian, you know, Zuzuzu or whatever. And everyone's like, yeah, Zuzuzu.
Gotta beat him.
Yeah. We gotta get Zuzuzu's help to beat the fire spirit. And, like, everyone else is like, wait, what? Who? Huh?
So yeah, next morning comes, they're just walking away, and like they couldn't have gotten too far when Hal shows up with his gigantic fire demon and just impales Lily Rara like with its claws.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I remember this scene very vividly. I thought this happened way later into a different character.
Hmm.
Because that might actually be like a weird spoiler if I'm not remembering it wrong. But yeah, I definitely remember the way he like impales someone and he like gives his little thing about like that's the weird thing because like he stabs through her and like Hal explains that it's like, oh no, there was only one demon in the Patch Tribe, and it was me. You know, I just went back like and reincarnated so I could get this guy for this shaman fight.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, those boys were right. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah. So, anyways, you gotta die, and then incinerates her.
Yeah, there's a bit. So I will mention so it's like there's a bit in the manga that they cut out where it's like the thugs from before show back up because they're going to like break into Lily Rara's house to get revenge on her, and they
Yeah.
just see Hal murdering her, and the fire spirit just looks over and just burns them to a crisp on the spot.
Oh man.
Yeah, he just murders them. And get this like whole thing where Hal's like, yeah, that's a great thing about the fire spirit. It burns everything, flesh, bones, even souls.
So Lily Rara's super dead.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a clone or something.
And I very distinctly remember like reading this chapter as a kid, and just because of where the like speech bubbles were positioned, because it's like focused on like the fire spirit, I thought the fire spirit was saying it. I always thought the fire spirit was just like, bragging about how strong his abilities were until now. But yeah, there's like a quick note in the manga as everyone's walk off, just like, Mom's like, oh hey, I think Lily Lala might be in trouble or something. Aaron's like, whatever, it's fine, If she was in danger, like her ghost would have said something. Or like she'd send a spirit or whatever.
So
But it's like, yeah.
my thing with this scene is that they couldn't have been so far away that they didn't sense Hal's presence or something.
Nah, it just happens.
It's absolutely ridiculous that they didn't notice this happening.
Oh, you bet it is.
They weren't even a minute away from this happening. There's no way.
Like, I don't know, like... Well, for stars, like, the fire spirit's just a big glowing, like, fire demon. For another thing, I've never heard someone be burned to death. I can't imagine that's, like, a very, like, quiet process.
Yeah. Also, maybe this is, like, their explanation. There is a weird effect that happens where,
Yeah.
like, It reminds me of Dio's Time Stop.
That's not in the manga, as far as I'm aware. I did see it.
Okay, so the anime might have included a thing to make it be like, oh, Hal like transported them to an alternate plane or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like, because
Like
I
they're
don't
trying
think
to.
how stop time, but it's like it's weird.
Yeah, well, like how would he get that from like a fire demon?
Yeah, you'd be
And it's like,
surprised.
but it's like maybe the anime, the team working on the anime was like, let's try to make this seem like there's a reason they wouldn't have noticed this, like a few feet away from them.
Yeah, like apparently powers in this series get nutty because I heard out a villain from like one of the spin-off mangas. It's like the sequel or whatever. And this whole thing, it says Ghost is just like a triangle pyramid with like the eye on it. And it's just straight up the spirit of capitalism. And it allows him to like turn people to stone.
Okay.
It's like, what the crap even is this?
Hal's like, I burned time so it stopped existing in this moment.
I could burn time to a crisp. Anika apparently burns souls, so why not?
I'm more willing to believe that than that he can burn time itself.
Oh,
Jiren.
man. Karen?
Jiren from Dragon Ball Super.
Okay, yeah.
He's so strong, he's stronger than time itself. Shut up.
So Jiren's stronger than time, and the fire spirit can burn time away, then who is strongest?
I feel like Jiren would murder the crap out of Hal.
Oh, absolutely.
It's one of those things where it's just like, who wins from who wins? Characters from Shaman King or characters from Dragon Ball? It's like, which do you think, idiot?
Oh man, I feel like
these battles are way smaller scale than anything Dragon Ball ever throws out.
Oh, absolutely. Nor forget the back in this. No, not back in the Cell Saga. Back in like the Vegeta saga, they were like blowing up planets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, judging power levels on feats and whatever, and blah blah blah. And it's like, but look at the Dragon Ball characters. It's like, oh, the ghosts can make you feel like you've lost an arm, and then like the Dragon Ball characters are like, so
yeah.
You do it to Piccolo, and he's like, okay, well, I'm used to that.
Yeah. Man. As, like, how funny will it be if it's like, oh yeah, yo, death battle, like, yo, effing, like, Yo versus Goku, and the fight starts, and Yo's like, alright, activate your Oversoul, and Goku's like, my what now? And he loses by default. Because he can't do the Shaman contest.
Well, that would be a stupid, like, highly situational occurrence. Like, for Death Battle, it has to, like, I know that they make some goofy decisions, but it's like, it's supposed to be as balanced as possible, so they wouldn't just put Goku in a situation where he couldn't win, period.
Oh, man. Like, you say that, but it's like, I haven't seen it. Apparently they did redo Cloud versus Link, which is just, like, the dumbest effing, because, like, let's think things through for a second, alright? Like, alright, like, the best way to do this, because, like, Link starts with nothing. Like, he has to, like, gain every single piece of equipment he has. So the only way you can have, like, a fair fight for Link is if Link has, like, every piece of gear from every game, right? Because, like, that's his canon arsenal.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, super fair, right?
Yeah. But then Cloud has to have access to every materia from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, which means that, like, fight starts, like, the logical conclusion of any fight between Link and Cloud is that Cloud should use Knights of the Round immediately, and then Link has to fight off 13 Knights at once. And because
Cloud.
he, like... Huh?
He has to fight off 13 knights at once and Cloud.
Yeah. And because Cloud has, like, double cast or whatever, it triggers twice.
Double
And,
cast, mime, 4x cut.
yeah, and Link would, like, walk in and do, like, one hit of damage, and it would trigger Auto Phoenix. And he'd just revive.
Yeah, upon death, like, even if Cloud were to lose, it's like, okay, Auto Phoenix, and then depending on the level of Phoenix, and I'm gonna guess everything is at max power, he could do it like 3 times.
Yeah. So, like, Link would have to fight through, like, 48 knights or some crap, and then, like, defeat Cloud 3 separate times, and survive 3 separate attacks from Phoenix. And then, if he can get past the swarms of, like, quad cuts and, like, mimics and, like, white winds and all this other bullcrap, then they can have, like, a proper sword duel to the death. Where, like, Cloud's just wielding Ultima or whatever, the Ultima weapon.
But to be fair, if he landed, like, at max power, do you know how the Ultima weapon works in 7?
Not quite.
Okay, so its power is dependent on how much health you have.
Okay, yeah.
So as you lose health, the Ultima weapon actually gets weaker.
Alright.
Yeah, it's a very strange weapon.
Man.
But if you can keep your health at max, then you're just hitting 9999 every time.
Yeah. You know what's even nuttier when you really think about it? It's like, think about it for a second, it's like, alright, like, level 1, a soldier walks up and shoots Cloud in the face and he survives. You could, like, measure how much force a bullet has and use that to calculate how strong Cloud is. If you really want to go unfair, you could, like, look at that and be like, alright, this means you need to take, like, 300 million nukes to the face to kill one max level Cloud.
So, in the original death battle between those two, who won?
I think it was Link, which is, like, bullcrap.
Yeah,
that's
what I kind of remember, because I feel like I had this thing in my head where it's like, Cloud didn't have any materia, you just didn't give him all his tools.
Yeah, they give him, like, basic Buster Sword, and he has, like, fire and ice or some crap. And their reasoning was like, oh, well, the Master Sword, like, is super effective against, like, evil beings like Genova. And it's like, that's a whole other thing that people were upset over. Because, like, I'm absolutely sure these guys, like, do their research and they're, like, actually crunching the numbers and trying to come up with, like, a good conclusion and stuff. But it's like, that actually is kind of bullcrap.
Yeah. It's like, isn't it specifically to kill Ganondorf?
It might be now. I think they may have, like, retconned that's, like, the sort of, like, just evil's bane, and it's just like, no, it's Ganon's bane.
I mean, it is the sword of evil's bane, but I think that the purpose for the Master Sword is to beat Ganon. Like, it's good against evil stuff in general, sure. But, like, in Breath of the Wild, the Master Sword only lights up if you're fighting stuff infected with Ganon's goo.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like, I think it activates around Guardians and, like, his evil goo pits around the towers.
Yeah. I wonder if that's why they redid it, because they, like, the lore changed or whatever, and they're like, okay, well, now we should probably take another look at this.
It's just kind of ridiculous. I don't usually, like, sometimes I agree with Death Battle, but, like, there was one that's like Sora versus Pit from Kid Icarus, and it's like I think Pit gets absolutely crushed, and I'm sitting there like, this one lone angel fights multiple armies per flight.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. I'd have to, like, hear their explanation for that.
Yeah, well, it's like, so Pit goes out and he's fighting the armies of the underworld, And then at one point, Veridi sends her forces of nature after Pitt too. And so Pitt's fighting 2 armies at once by himself. And he's winning.
Yeah. Like, I guess you could argue that it's like Sora does the same with like the Heartless or whatever, and he is like, well, no, because like Sora's biggest feat was like the Nav 1,000 Heartless, right? Or whatever it's called, where he fights like 1,000 Heartless at once and he gets like overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. It's a bunch of chump Heartless.
Yeah.
They die in a couple of swings.
But yeah, isn't that like the plot that it's like he beats 1,000 Heartless and Sora's like, there's too many of them, and like Mickey saves him or something?
No, he gets through the 1,000 Heartless fight easy, and then like in the next scene he's still totally fine. But it's like but then Saïx gives him the revelation that like, oh, by the way, you killing Heartless is helping us. And then Sora like quote unquote loses because he's like, I don't want to kill any more Heartless because I don't want to help the organization. Yeah. And then Maleficent teleports him out.
Right, yeah, that's the whole thing. And Goofy just fake dies.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I understand. Sora's strong. Sora has fought a lot of bullcrap.
Yeah.
And it's like, he cuts skyscrapers in half and like flies around, and like Sora is powerful.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
They did Pit dirty.
Yeah, because like, I think that's that thing that's like Sora's not as strong as Hercules, who's like a demigod. Meanwhile, Pit's fighting like actual gods, like for real.
Pit beat a god. He beats Hades.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing it with the assistance of the other gods, but still.
Yeah. Like, he beats Palutena when she's being controlled.
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda, yeah, I'd count that.
Canonically, I see that fight. Like, you can attack Palutena, but if she dies, then you fail the fight.
Oh, right, yeah, that's the whole thing.
So canonically, in my head, like in that fight, he's dodging Palutena while attacking the Chaoskin.
Yeah, all right, that makes a lot more sense then.
Yeah, but still, there is a scene. There is a scene later where like he's going through like some new trials to earn a new like godly weapon to fight Hades, and it's implied that Palutena herself joins the fight as a test.
Yeah.
And Pit's like, oh, I don't want to hurt Palutena. And then Palutena like changes her face to look all monstery. Like she looks like a freak monster. And Pit's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's implied that wasn't, or Pit's like, oh, I see. You created a replica of Palutena to fight me. And then at the end of the fight, like it's implied that Palutena was actually the one fighting. So he does beat Palutena.
Interesting.
And he kills Hades. And he fights armies, multiple.
Did Sora... Because Sora doesn't actually kill Hades, does he? Or he doesn't beat him. He like has to have Hercules' help.
Every time it's Hercules who deals with him.
Yeah, alright.
Also, I want to point out that Hercules seems to be depowered in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Because it's like, in the movie, it's like, oh yeah, Hercules is so stupidly strong that only being turned mortal stops him. And then it's like, oh, Hades has to fight a bunch of nonstop battles in the Colosseum and he's getting tired.
Yeah, or and Hercules.
It's like, I get that it's like, oh, nonstop battles. He's a demigod.
Yeah. That is interesting.
I think at some points he struggles to lift things, and it's like, I don't know. It's like he seems depowered in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, when you put it like that, man. It's like, that's a direct point of comparison, it feels like. So anything else we want to say about Shaman King, I guess?
Nah, I think that's about it.
How do you feel about this episode?
It's alright. I didn't have any major complaints, I guess.
Yeah, it feels necessary. Probably could have been done better, but at least it's kind of over with. Like, I'm gonna be way more interested in what or the crap happens next, because I don't know if you saw the title card.
No, I missed it.
Yeah, it's something like Lysander the Avenger or something. And it's like, oh, we're just meeting this character, huh?
Oh, okay.
Oh boy. I vaguely remember stuff about this part of the arc. I wonder if there's one specific gag that they'll keep in, or if they'll just cut it out because it's either too, like, dumb or, like, too pointless.
Hmm.
I don't know, Lysander's a weird character. There's a lot of weird stuff about this guy. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys around.